Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome to my little piece of the earth. We are live in my backyard. For anyone who's watching during the replay, please leave me a comment on whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay. That really helps me know, when best to post these videos. So if you're watching on the replay right now, just type in replay. And for everybody else who's watching live, hello. Thank you for joining me. It was touch and go here. We are redoing my backyard cushions specifically for our swing set, which is located sort of in the back corner of the yard. Had kind of a grungy looking pillow. Ruby, can you grab it for me? It's just over in there. Big kind of swing seat, and it was, the one it came with, and it was okay. It was just sort of a beige color. But we're going to give it a little bit of an update, and I thought you guys might want to join in. We're losing some stuff over here. So, oh, there's Ruby with the big pillow. So you can see it here. It's a gigantic pillow, and I don't want you to be afraid of projects like this, because if you can sew a little pencil pouch, you can sew a big seat cushion too. And I know you're saying, oh no, I can't. No, trust me, you can. It's just really a matter of sewing, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight lines. And I'm also going to pipe around the edges, because that is what's really going to set what you make at home apart from something that you can buy at the store and give it that custom upholstered look. And once you know how to do it, you'll be able to do it for all your cushions, for your throw pillows. You'll be redoing all the old stuff. So the machine I'm working on today is the Janome 6650. It's the Memory Craft 6650. And why don't I just bring you over to it for a second, and we'll just take a quick look here. So I've got Ty on my roving camera, and this is the beauty machine. I mean, this is a very industrial looking machine. You can see it has a bit of a different look than your average sewing machine, especially around here. Look at the throat space. We're talking about 10 inches of throat space, which is amazing for quilting. But you know what really sets this apart is that it's all metal. This is a very heavy duty machine. You don't see all metal machines like that. Those were a thing of the past, but this is an all metal machine because this is a heavy duty bad boy. It's much more of a professional machine than your average sewing machine, and you can even tell in the look. It's totally computerized, but not knee deep in computerization. You still have a few knobs, but they turn your stitch width and stitch length within the computerization. You've got your speed control, you've got a stop start button, and you've got lots of automation, the scissors, the needle up down, the lock stitch, but it really still has a very sleek sleek and easy to use versus some computerized sewing machines that are very knee deep in the computerization. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little look at what I'm sewing on, because I know people will be asking, and then I'm going to get to cutting. I have brought out my cutting table, and my cutting mat fits perfectly on it, and I love this cutting table because it's so portable. So Ty, why don't you show everybody just a little look at the skinny legs and how it comes up and down, because this cutting table is also going to be on the shopping channel with me along with that machine. June 10th, we're airing at 6 p.m. and you can see this just folds right up. So it's easy to bring up, and I brought it from downstairs, but it's easy to tuck away. And so it's such a beautiful day out. We're doing outside work, so why not sew outside? The stuff is very portable. Same with these tables over here too. They're going to be available and easy to bring wherever you need them. Okay, Violet is going to be asking me the questions today from you folks. So Violet, have we got some people tuning in?
Yep.
And you let me know if anyone has any questions. Okay?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to start cutting. As much as I want to get to the sewing, you got to start by cutting. So I've been hanging on to this piece of fabric Oh, that's the trim. Oh, here it is. For close to 5 years now. And you'll see it's actually a used piece that I got from a furniture store. And I got it for free. I was so like thrilled. And they were like, yeah, sure, take it. Because I guess when they're making custom upholstery, people want to have like a certain image right in the back of their chair. And then they just waste all of this perfectly good fabric. Well, I was like, I'll take that. And so I've been hanging on to this piece for so long. And I thought, I'm going to use the long strip at the end here, or right by the selvage, for my piping. So that's what I'm going to cut first. I knew this scrap would come in handy someday. There were many a times when I was cleaning out my fabric stashes, I was like, maybe I should just, you know, get rid of that. And I'm so glad I did not, because I'm going to use sort of a creamy white outdoor like sunbrella fabric that I got at Fabricland for the seat. But then I'm going to use this for the piping, and then I can also put it on some throw pillows. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of come around to the edge here, cut off the selvage. And when you're doing piping, so does everyone know what I mean by piping? I'll show you. I've got a little bit of this one already done, and I'll show it right up close. Piping is what you see on like custom, you know, pillows, benches, you know, upholstery. It's when there's like a little trim that's a bit different, or it's an accent color, and it's easy to put on, but it's very, very, it's very, very expensive when you order it from the store, but it's very, very cheap to do it yourself, because you can get meters worth of piping for like $1. Like, it's not expensive to buy cording. In fact, I used for this project, this is just from the hardware store, clothesline, a rope clothesline. So, I mean, easy. And you're just gonna wrap, you'll see, you're just gonna wrap your fabric right around it. Violet, got some questions?
Yes.
Okay, what's up?
Where can you find sewing machines and tables like that?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you're in Canada, I'm gonna have everything I'm using here today on the shopping channel on June 10th. So that's Wednesday next week. I'm gonna have this sewing machine, which is the Memory Craft 6650. I'm gonna have all of these tables. So I'm gonna have this cutting table, the mat that fits perfectly on this cutting table. So you can see the mat goes like, it fits exactly on here. There's a serger, the air thread serger is gonna be on. What else? The cover hem machine is gonna be on, all on sale. And tons of sewing accessories. There's like a little janome trash can, a footrest. There's thread that's gonna be on. And it's perfect timing for something like this because, I mean, let's face it, we want stuff that can get delivered to our door these days. And this will just get shipped right to you. Okay, so I've just taken off the selvage. Got a little thread there. And now for your piping, you can basically do it as skinny or as wide as you want. It depends on your cord really, but in all likelihood, 2 inches will be more than enough. I would bet 2.5 would probably be too much, but do what you're comfortable with. You're gonna sew this with the zipper foot on. I'm gonna show you that on the machine. But when you're cutting a big long strip like this, you're gonna start at one end and then you're gonna have to slide your ruler to the other end. So I'm gonna give you a few little tips on how to do that. Look, we're fighting the wind here. Okay, so I'm gonna make this 2 inches. I think that should be, so I just need a little weight to keep this down. Maybe I should use my pin bucket. Go ahead, Violet, question?
Can you buy this stuff in the USA?
Yes, I would check with your local janome dealer because they can order in whatever janome stuff you want. So this would be the cutting table, and they definitely have that machine. Yes, Violet?
And on June 10th, What do you enter to view?
So you can go to TSC, or is it Shop TSC? I think it's shoptsc.ca, or just Google the shopping channel in Canada, and then you can watch live. So you can live stream. Maybe I'll do 2.5 here just to be safe. Yeah, 2.5. And so you can see I'm going up, but before I get to the end of my ruler, I'm going to guide along with my rotary cutter, slide my ruler up, 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 and I just push that out of the way there. Thank you. And I'm going to wait until I can see that my lines now match up on this end. And you can either come to the other side, but because I'm at sort of a funny angle here, make sure my lines are lined up. So I'm at 2.5. And then you can get your big long strip. And of course I'd already folded that in half, so it's a super long strip. So that's gonna be for the piping. I'm gonna cut one more, and then I'm gonna show you how to attach this together, because you wanna have your piping all in one big long, 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 long strip. Everybody good out there? Where are you tuning in from? We are in Toronto, Canada, and we set up outside here this morning because we thought it would be cool to be outside, and there was no rain in the forecast, and I thought, oh perfect, we're making outside things, we'll, you know, set up outside. Well, if you're following me on Instagram, hopefully, well, Mike will show you where you can follow me. So you're following me on Instagram stories, maybe, what, like less than 2 hours ago, we just started hearing like this crazy thunder. And we're like, oh boy, we got the sewing machines out here, we got the lights, we got the cameras. We're like, Sure enough, the sky opened up and it was raining for what, like close to an hour and a half? Anyway, it's beautiful again, hot. Okay, now we've got our second long strip. So that should be enough for the piping to go around my cushion. So before we take the piping to the sewing machine, I want to show you a little trick, because you're going to want to miter these corners together. So I'm going to take one long strip and I'm going to sew it to the other long strip. Now I don't want you to just sew it straight across the ends, because if you do that, I mean, it'll work. In fact, if you can't figure out the other way, or you do it. But I'm going to show you a way to have a little less bulk, and it'll just look a little sleeker. But even if you had to do it the other way, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so right side's up, and then right side down, and we're going to make like a little T, like a little cross here. We'll leave a little bit of excess on either side. And then what I'm going to do is, I thought I had a pen. Where did I put that pen, you guys? I think it might be over here. Violet went to get me one, but I know I had one out here. So it's probably just in the fray. Anyone? No? Okay, well what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark with my pen, or if you have like a chalk pencil or a friction pen or whatever you use for sewing, you're just going to draw a little diagonal line from one side to the other, and you're going to go from left to right. There, she's coming with it. Thank you. And now, once you get kind of good, you probably wouldn't need to make these pen marks, but I'm not that good. And it's windy. And we're live, so I can use all the help I could get. And I'm just going to put a little pin there. I'm going to bring it to the sewing machine. And then what this is going to really allow me to do is sew right down that line. And then once it's sewn, I can flip it over like this. Can you see on the overhead? I'm going to flip it over like this. And then I'm going to have that diagonal seam. which is going to leave a lot less bulk than if I was just going to sew it straight down. And then when I'm doing the piping around the cushion, you don't get a big kind of hump on that one spot. All right, I'm going to bring this over to the machine. So here I've got my zipper foot on, but I'm going to change it out to my regular presser foot. This machine comes with tons, look at them, tons of accessories. That's just like half of them. The other half are in this box right here. And I'm just going to put on, where's my regular foot? Maybe I left it over on the other table. That's okay. All right, I'll just use the zipper foot. It's not the end of the world. So see, this is why it's good that I pinned it, because I flopped this all around and now I know my marking is still safe. So you would use your regular foot here, but whatever. I'm using the zipper foot. And I'm just going to sew diagonal right down this little strap. I'm going to reverse back just at the end. And I'm using the automatic scissors. And now, when I open this up, I'm going to have a nice flat seam. And you won't really ever notice the bulk the way you would have had I have sewn it straight. And then I can just bring it back to the table. And actually, I can just use my scissors here even. And just cut that maybe 1/4 inch. And then off with the dog ears. And I usually like to open this up flat, and you can press it either with your finger or with a hot iron. And it just helps to spread out the seam a little bit. And now you'll be able to put together your piping in long strips. And this is exactly the same way you would do quilt binding. You would miter the corners together like this too. You okay, Ruby?
Yeah.
Ruby, my little daughter, do you want to come and say hi?
Sure.
Sure, come on in. Come on in, say hi. This is Ruby. She was taking some pictures for, should we put them on Instagram after?
They're not that good.
They're not that good? Oh, I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Okay, so I've got some cord, piping cord here. My, clothesline. That's what I was using. And basically all you're going to do is take your long strip and wrap the cord right around it. And I'm just going to put a pin or a clip right in at the top, just so it stays put. But you really don't need to pin this. We can just take this over to the machine, and with our zipper foot, we're going to put a row of stitches all down here, and we're going to make our own piping for the swing cushion. While I'm pulling in here, I'm going to show you something. Yeah, Violet, go ahead.
Would you be featuring the Crafter's Companion Stitch Pro at TSC anytime?
Oh, the Crafter's Companion Stitch Pro. Not that I've heard. Not that I've heard. But you may be able to buy that from the Crafter's Companion website. I would check there. Okay. So now that I've got this wrapped, we'll come in nice and close. You can see I'm gonna take my zipper foot allows me to get right close, but I'm gonna take my needle and move it over even closer. So see how it's moving all the way over there? See how the needle's moving? So I'm gonna move that all the way over. Get my little clip out of the way. So Ty, just come on right here and show, I'm gonna show, so the stitch starts, the stitch length is automatically at 2.4, I could probably turn it up a little bit. I'm gonna go at a 3. So can you even see right in here? Let me just take it. So when I turn this knob here, you'll see the computerization, but yet you'll also see that it's easy to use because you're just turning the knob, and that's changing the stitch length. And then this is changing where the needle position is. So I can move that over if I want it closer to it, to the piping or not. And since we're here, you may as well just take a look at the machine. I love this machine. It's got an automatic, oh, we're not on this camera?
Yes.
Oh, it just says preview on it, that's why. Okay, it's got an automatic bobbin winder, which is great, with its own motor. So you can see if I press, this is over, and I press this bobbin button, that starts to wind, which means I never have to unthread my actual machine to wind the bobbin, which is really, really handy. Okay, so let's get this going here. And you can just see with my fingers, I'm just gonna make sure that this stays wound. And you can see the zipper foot is letting me get nice and close. However, I'm gonna give you a tip if you're doing your own piping. When you're sewing it closed to begin with, don't go 100% as close as possible. Save that for when you're putting your actual fabric on, because when you're putting your fabric on, then you want to be 100% as close as possible, so that when you turn it over, you don't see any like stitches on this side. If these stitches were too close and you didn't get 100% close on your when you attach your actual seat cushion, then you'll end up seeing some of those stitches. So on the first pass here, you're getting close, but not super close. How are we doing over there, Violet? Is everybody hanging in here?
Yep.
Good. So if you guys have any questions, leave them there and Violet will shout them out. If you're just tuning in, I am reupholstering. I'm reupholstering the cushion for our backyard swing, because we've had it, what, 2 years? I got it for Mother's Day last year or the year before? I think the year before. The swing, which I loved. And it came with like a standard beige like cover, the way most of them do. And I thought, come on, I'm a sewing girl. I can do a little better than that. And so I'm gonna pipe. So I've got some nice trim that will match the throw pillows I'll eventually make to go with it. But this is the kind of thing you can do yourself when you've got a machine that can take these heavy duty projects. So obviously this machine would have no problem sewing masks or quilting. Garment sewing's a breeze because you've got tons of space. But because this is a very heavy duty machine, it's got an all metal bed, tons of throat space, it's very industrial, it's even industrial looking, and it's meant to be because you're meant to do extra heavy duty projects. You can see when I stop sewing, the needle stays in the down position, which is really great in case I need to lift the presser foot. So I'm lifting up this presser foot, but you'll see it also has a double height and it stays up. And more than my finger can fit under there. So that's how big you can get, like sponge or the bottoms of drapes. If you're fixing the boat cover, the barbecue cover, that's how it'll stay lifted. I love that feature. So that's a regular presser foot lift, and then you've got the extended. You know, those are the kinds of things that these more industrial machines will do for you, because inevitably you're going to end up sewing thicker things on machines like this because they can sew through thicker things. Make sure you use, like I'm using a denim needle. I didn't have an upholstery needle, so I used a denim. That's fine. You could even try a leather needle. To be honest, I bet you a regular universal needle would work too. This isn't insanely thick. But once I start attaching this to the actual outdoor fabric, and then I get the third or fourth layer on there, that's when this machine is really going to set itself apart from your regular sewing machine. All good out there in Facebook world, Violet?
Yep, everything's great.
Good. Okay, so a few more stitches here, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to lay this piping onto our actual seat cushion. So I'm going to turn this up full speed. Now you can see I'm going full speed, which is over 1,000 stitches per minute because I'm on a big straightaway here. And the table is not jumping at all. And that's because I'm using this universal side table. So you could use this for sewing or whatever crafting. It's narrow. It's got a very narrow footprint, which means it doesn't take up a lot of space. So if you already have a big sewing desk, but think, hey, why not have my desk take like an L shape? You could add this to the side, and it is extremely sturdy. I mean, Janome does these tables because they know people, not everyone has a big sewing room, and you don't want to always be sewing at the dining room table. You want to be able to have somewhere that you can leave your sewing machine set up. You're more likely to use it if you can leave it set up. So I love this side table for exactly that. And you can see I'm at full speed and the machine is not bouncing at all. And it comes in that nice white. And trust me, for years I just used sort of like IKEA furniture in my sewing room because like that's what I could afford. And in fact, I think I even bought it used, like from Kijiji or Craigslist or something. And my machine did bounce around a lot. So I felt really lucky to get these tables because they gave me that same like sleek look, but they were much, much hardier. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of my piping here. So Ty, you can see coming in here, I'm not sewing all the way to the end yet because I may need to add another piece in there. So I'm just gonna backstitch, use my automatic scissors, and there we go. Now I've got my nice long big piece of piping. All right. I'm going to show you a piece that I've got on my seat cover here. So I've just cut out the measurements using my outdoor fabric. And you know, I was looking online at a bunch of people's blogs and I got like an amazing tip. I wish I would have read it sooner, but I will pass it on to you. And it's that shower curtains, you know, like the kind of the cloth ones that you can wipe down, would make great outdoor furniture covers. And they're a fraction of the cost of outdoor fabric. So if you're at Walmart or Target or someplace that you can order, take a look at the shower curtains because they have beautiful designs and often they're kind of outdoorsy or like nautical and that would make for a great seat cushion. Violet, do we have a question there?
Nope.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to show you here how I'm attaching this piping. I'm just going to take off this one so you can see I've got the piping just like I've done. And I've laid it all down the front and I've pinned it. You could use clips. And then once you get to the corner, you're gonna want to snip the corner so that it takes the corner more easily. If you don't cut that, that's why you wanna have a little bit of, and not just do like 1.5 inch piping. You gotta be a really strong sewer. So I left myself an inch overhang on the seat. And because I did 2.5 inches for the piping, that gave me kind of a 1/2 inch to go around the piping and then an inch to play with for my seam allowance. So you can see here, I'm just going to take the corner. I've got my split and I can see through my fabric. So I'm going to line up the edge with my line on my mat. And I'm going to just make sure I lay down the piping on not past 1 inch and make sure it's nice and pinned down. To be honest, I think clips would work better here, but I only brought out my pin bucket. So the clips are still in the basement. See, the nice thing about sewing outside is you got a breeze and you got a nice setting. But I do have quite a tricked out sewing room downstairs where all the stuff is. So, you know, can't bring everything outside. So when you want to reach for clips and you only have pins, you kind of have to just be fine with it. No, that's okay. Violet's like, do you want me to go get them? That's okay. All right, so I'm pinning it in place, keeping that 1-inch seam allowance. And now I'm gonna bring this back to the machine and I'm gonna just sew all the way around. So I'm gonna have a boxed out seat. So I'll have a trim of piping on the top and then again a trim of piping at the bottom. Yes, Violet?
What size is the piping?
So the piping I cut is 2.5 inches and the rope is about a 1/4 inch. So I cut 2.5 inches so that I'd have just enough, a 1/2 inch to go around the piping and then a 1-inch seam allowance to sort of allow myself, you know, a bit of wiggle room. Okay, my machine kind of came unthreaded here, no big deal. This machine has an automatic needle threader. You just pull down this little, oh, that's for the buttonhole. Yeah, you just pull down this little lever here. Oh, it's on the side here. And it'll thread the needle for you, just loop it. Okay. So now again, I'm getting very close to the edge, but not all the way. I'm saving all the way with my zipper foot for when I attach my fabric, which is the next step. Now, if you're really good, you could attach your top fabric at the same time, but you know, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not doing that. But I do want to show you something kind of comfy down here. Okay, look at my feet. So I'm using the foot pad from Janome here, and basically it allows my left foot to be the same height as my right foot when it's on the foot pedal. And this has, I can't even believe some of these accessories that I get that I didn't know I really needed that have made sewing life so much more comfortable. You know, this is the kind of thing you're like, oh, you know, I'm fine. But you know, sometimes we sit and sew for hours and it really has made a world of difference in my posture. So I'm glad to have that. So you can keep a watch for that. This is going to be on the shopping channel next week too. Okay, so here, because this is just sort of our rough sew-in, I'm still using the zipper foot, but I don't need to get super close to the piping quite yet. Violet.
What kind of thread are you using?
Ah, good question. So I'm using 100% polyester thread, Gooderman polyester thread, because this is going to get wet and I didn't want to take any chances on shrinking and not shrinking, so we're using polyester thread. I did not opt for upholstery thread because I just find it's just too thick, and the polyester does just fine. Good question. Okay. So come on in close here and you'll see me take the corner. So even though this sort of looks like it takes the corner at like kind of a curved corner, I'm still going to make a boxed corner because I still want this to be nice and straight. So I'm going to get nice and close, watch out for my pin, make sure I'm still sewing on the fabric, and then once I get past, I'm going to lift up my presser foot, and because my needle stops in the needle down position, I can rotate, and that's going to give me that perfect corner. And then just continue on my way. Best not to stop and cut and start a new line. You can just pivot instead. These pins are matching in with the colors on my fabric here. I don't want to run over them. So it really helps me to do these videos if you like and share it. Then lots of crafty people get to see them, because usually crafty people have other crafty people in their life, so that helps me out if you like and share the video. So I hope you will help me out and do that. And of course I hope you're following me on Facebook, which is here, and on Instagram, because I will post the final reveal of this project once all the throw pillows and everything are done. on Facebook and Instagram. So hopefully it shouldn't take too long. I'll keep working on it. Hey, Violet?
Yep.
You gonna help me?
Yep.
Good. I'm kind of actually thinking, because the swing, I don't know if Ty can show you a shot of it back there. The swing has like a square kind of, what would you call that? Arch? Canopy. And I'm thinking we probably should hang some like cuter curtains from there, make some throw pillows. Like, you know, we could really zhuzh that up. It'd be spectacular. It'd be nicer than our bedroom. Although for anyone who's going to be tuning in to the shopping channel on Wednesday, I've just bought some drapery fabric. I'm going to make some drapes coming up. I'm going to make that live on TSC. I may do a little bit more of this on TSC. That'd be nice. I always try to like actually make things that I am going to use like in my own house, and not just kind of do demos on scrap pieces of material. Because I feel like it's important for you guys to see projects that you might want to do too. I figure if I'm doing them, maybe you'll be doing them too. Okay, so I'm getting to my other corner here. So again, I'm just approaching. And if you have to, just wheel down and then pivot up. Turn, make your turn. And then start sewing the next direction. Yes, Violet.
Can you use pool noodles for the top?
Ooh, pool noodles? I don't know.
I like that idea.
Violet does like that idea. I bet you could. If you do it, tag me in it because I'd want to see it. How many of you out there have redesigned your own backyard cushions? I'd be interested to know if anyone's taken on their whole like backyard set. I'd like to. I don't love the color of our actual. Okay, it's on. Okay, it doesn't look like piping really looks yet, but we're getting there. So, I'm going to show you what your next step is. I'm going to show you without actually sewing it because I already did the top piece, which is right here. So what I've done here is taken strips, 4.5-inch strips for the front and the side of the cushion. So let's just put this whole cushion up here so you can see what I mean. So here's the old raggedy one. It's actually not in that bad a shape. It's just, you know, it's seen better days. So you can see how it's going to box out. Because I've added these side pieces like this, same with in the front. And then I need to add the bottom piece, which is the one I just sewed. So then we'll have that same piping trim all around the bottom. So I'll take this off. And it will take a little bit of finagling to get everything lined up here. So we'll start with the side and the side. And I like to start not at the end, but at the boxed corner, because this is the part that it's really important that it gets lined up 100% properly. Okay. I'll lose the cushion. Start just on the edge here. Oh, I need this side, that's why. So now, depending on what your cushion calls for, you may decide to put a zipper on one side, or for this particular one, I need to have the whole back open so I can slide the entire cushion in, and then I need to make a top part of it because there's two sides to that, to the swing. There's the swing seat and the swing back. Okay, so I'm taking the corner and I'm gonna line it up with the bottom corner. And once I've got this lined up, oh, I have one clip in here, I'll use it. Then I'm gonna go along the side and I'm gonna make sure this is where I'm gonna get nice and close to the piping. And I really don't think I need to pin this. I think it's probably better if I kind of shimmy it along at the machine. So let's bring it over to the machine. And you can see here, it's this side's like a little bit longer than that side. Doesn't matter because I know it's lined up at the corner and that's where it really counts. Okay. So you can see, even though it's big, if you've sewn like a little box pouch, it's the same general principle. You'd be able to do this too. So now remember, this is where I'm getting nice and close to the piping. I gotta say, it feels good to sew outside. So often we're just like sewing in these dark rooms with like little lamps. It's like all this like bright light and great ambiance. You know, if it wasn't for the hassle of bringing, you know, the stuff out, this would be my sewing space. But honestly, if you're gonna do a big project in the wet, like on a weekend, why not bring it outside? Especially if you don't have a sewing room and you just have like a little table like this and you can kind of bring it. Question? Or are you just fiddling with your hair? Okay. Okay, so now this is where I'm gonna get nice and close to the piping. Absolutely as close as I possibly can. So you can see you're gonna have to kind of feel with your finger a little bit. I'm allowing myself like, you know, about a ½ inch, quarter inch. Gonna backspace, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just keep making sure that it's nice and close. And again, using my finger to feel. This machine, the feed dogs are so strong that you just have to guide. It will take care of pulling it. Even these triple, quadruple layers of, you know, outdoor fabric that I've got going here. When you have a kind of a heavy duty machine like this, it's no problem. Your job is to just keep that presser foot nice and close to the piping so that it looks really custom when it's done. Violet, did anyone let us know if they had ever redid their outdoor cushions?
No, not yet.
Let me know if you guys have ever done it, or if you might be inspired to try. All right, getting to the corner. Now I'm gonna stop and backspace, like a computer, backstitch, and I'm taking it out. All right, so that's just the one side done. Let's open it up and take a look. Woo! Look, you guys. Violet, it looks nice, eh?
Yeah.
I know, I like it. you know, it's just enough to have like a little spray of color, you know, and it's gonna look nice with the throw pillows. And this is the stuff that you really pay top dollar for that I know you can do yourself. Okay, so I always want to see it right away. I know. All right, so now I'm going to take the corner again. Now I've got my long stretch coming. Again, nice and close to the piping. I went a little too far, so I'm just snipping a couple of those out so I'm not as far away from the piping. Don't be afraid to pull it out and stitch it back. You want to make sure it looks good. Everybody uses their seam ripper. Everybody, the best, use their seam ripper. Yep, Violet.
Are you using a special thread and needle?
I'm using 100% polyester thread because this is outdoor fabric and it's going to stay outside and it's going to get rained on, and I didn't want to risk, you know, stretching or shrinking, that kind of thing with the cotton. So it's 100% polyester thread from Gooderman, and there's going to actually be a poly neon thread bundle on TSC, so you can watch for that. That's great for embroidery and decorative stitches. But for this, I just used polyester, and I used a denim needle. So I think it was I can't remember the size, I've got it in there, but it's a denim needle. So it's the needle is meant for, well, jeans, a bit of thicker material. And that's important to remember when you're sewing stuff that's thicker than sort of regular just cotton. You know, I've got a few layers of outdoor canvasy type fabric here. It's definitely thicker than usual. Plus I've got the piping and it's doubled over. So I'm going through 4 layers, which, to be honest, for a machine like this is no problem. And I'm just shimming it as I go and making sure I'm feeling my way down that piping. So we should get on this live, the bottom seat of the swing done. And so be sure you're following me on Instagram, and I will post the final reveal, like the before after. I'll do one of those cute, oh, look at how terrible it looked before, and now look how beautiful it is. Keep everything straight as you go. Anybody joining in for the first time, or have we got some long timers on here?
We have a lot of long time.
Yeah? Even you're recognizing some names, Violet?
Yeah, they come and go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have been tuning in. Janome has been doing at Janome HQ on Instagram Live almost, I think it's 3 times a week. My good friend Michael has been doing lives on and basically taking you through all the different presser feet that Janome offers and giving you techniques. It's been invaluable. And so I'd encourage you to head over to Janome HQ and check that out, because that's a real resource, especially if you own a Janome sewing machine, or any sewing machine for that matter, because a lot of times the feet can be used in the same way no matter what brand you have. All right, we're almost to the other side here, you guys. And now I could be turning this up a little faster and sewing the full 1,000 stitches per minute, but I just don't trust myself because I'm talking to you guys and, you know, I don't want to wreck it. So we're getting to the next corner. And again, I'm just making sure that the needle stays nice and snug. All right, as soon as I get right to that middle line, needle down, press her foot up, I'm gonna pivot. Yes, Violet?
Will they be able to relook at this after?
Yes, this is gonna stay posted on my Facebook page. So it'll just move a little further down the feed as the days go on and other posts come up, or you can find it under videos on this Facebook page. So if you are inspired to make some outdoor furniture, or if you're waiting for your sewing machine to arrive that can do this, yeah, just come back at a later date. Or if you just gotta go, you gotta get to work, or, you know, have some lunch, then you can watch the rest later. No problem. Okay, I'm nearly done. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see this on the actual pillow. Now see, I got too excited and I jumped right out of my spot here. That's okay. Just cut, go back about an inch, and start again. I don't have to take anything out. But I am gonna backstitch again. Look, I'm almost done. See how close that's getting? That's what's gonna make it look really good. I've done pillows and stuff before where I ended up like having the stitching way down here, and then when you flip it over, you've got this big space between your fabric and your piping, and that does not look good. All right. Okay, time to flip it. Come help me, Violet. Okay, hold that side out.
This side?
Yep, this is Violet, everybody.
Hi.
She's been asking your questions. All right. All right, check that out from, if you can see, just how nice and tight that piping is. All right, let's get the pillow in here, okay? Okay, this is the moment of truth. Please fit. Stuff it right in, just like we're doing if it was in your bedroom. Here, you go that side now.
Okay.
You want it snug. You definitely want it snug. You like it? It looks good. Can you see it?
Yep.
Wow.
Looks better than last time.
It does look better. Wow, I don't want to be negative, but I'm sure you guys will scratch this up in no time. White, why did I think of white? Anyway, because it looks the best, that's why. Okay, I want to look at this from the front and the side because get a few of these little strays off. Wow, this looks nice and crisp. Hey, you guys? Nice. I am happy with this. Very good. Okay, so I just have one more to do, like the back part, and then I'll go and put it on the seat. But it's exactly the same process for the next size cushion. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys tuned in. I'm glad this worked. You know how you don't want to be like, wow, I'm so impressed with myself. I'm so impressed that this worked. Yes. Yeah. All right, well, I probably should be thanking the machine, since really all I did was kind of try to sew straight, and it did all of the real heavy lifting. Yeah. So I hope you will tune in on Wednesday. That's when I'm going to be on the shopping channel with this machine and tons of little sewing accessories that will be on sale. Come on in, Violet. And what else will we be doing until Wednesday? We've got some appearances on Global's The Morning Show coming up next week. I think Monday and Wednesday we're on The Morning Show. And yeah, we're on The Morning Show on Wednesday and then on TSC at 6 o'clock. So it's a big TV day on Wednesday. Yes. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you will like and share this video. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to it once we're finished sewing here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.